Hi everyone, welcome to this Scratch programming tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to randomize the behavior of sprites in your games. Randomization is a super cool way to make your games more fun and unpredictable. By the end of this video, you'll know how to use operators and randomization to create dynamic game elements. Let's get started. First, let's talk about what we're going to learn today. By the end of this video, you'll understand what operators like plus, minus, the asterisk, and the /, mod, and round do in Scratch. Learn how to use pick random block to place objects randomly on the screen. Understand how to use comparison operators like less than, equals, and greater than, as well as logical operators like and, or, and not. Finally, we'll put all of this together in a Scratch game. Sounds fun, right? Let's get started. Okay, so you've probably already used operators with variables in Scratch. Operators are just symbols that help you perform calculations or make decisions in your game or your code. For example, the plus operator adds two numbers together, and the minus operator subtracts them. Today we're going to explore how to use these operators in a more advanced way to create random behavior in your games. Now let's talk about where you might want to use randomization in your games. Randomization is great for making things unpredictable and exciting. For example, if your character dies, you might want them to respawn at a random location instead of the same spot every time. If you have enemies in your game, you could make them reappear at random places after they're defeated. Or you could have collectible items like coins or treasures. You could make them appear randomly on the screen. These are just a few examples, but randomization can be used in so many creative ways. So, how do we make objects appear randomly on the screen? Well, we'll use the pick random block in Scratch. This block lets you choose a random number within a range you specify. For example, if you want an object to appear at random x coordinate between minus 200 and 200, you can use the pick random block to do that. We'll see how this works in just a moment. Before we start coding, let's talk about the Scratch window and how coordinates work. The Scratch stage uses a coordinate system, kind of like a grid. The center of the screen is at 0, 0. The x-axis runs left to right, and the y-axis runs up and down. For example, the point marked x on this slide, on this page, is at minus 100, 30. Can you figure out where points y and z are? Pause the video and take a guess. Now I want to take a quick break from coding to talk about something important: getting stuck. It's totally normal to get stuck when you're programming. In fact, it's part of the learning process. If you're stuck, here are some things you could do. First, try to solve the problem yourself by experimenting with your code. Use Scratch's help files and tutorials. They're really helpful. Look at projects in the Scratch community for inspiration. Search for answers. There are tons of resources out there. Ask a friend or a teacher for help. Remember, every programmer gets stuck sometimes. What matters is how you solve the problem. Before we move on, I want to remind you to always comment your code. Comments are little notes you can add to your code to explain what it does. For example, if you use the pick random block to make a sprite appear randomly, you could add a comment like, "This makes the treasure chest appear at a random location." Comments make your code easier to understand, especially if you come back to it later or share it with others. Right, let's recap what we've learned today. We've explored how to use operators and randomization in Scratch. We've learned how to make objects appear randomly on the screen using the pick random block. We talked about how to use coordinates to position sprites. And we discussed what to do when you get stuck. Now it's your turn. Try creating a game that uses random sprite behavior. Experiment with different combinations or operators and randomization to make your game unique. Thanks for watching and happy coding.